Good afternoon, everyone. Trader Tim from E-mini Mind here doing a trade recap video for today, Thursday, the 7th of March, 2019. I thought it was a pretty decent day. The last couple of days have been fairly easy to read, I felt. Let me go up to the daily chart first. You can see the slide that we've been in this week. Today we broke the low of that big body candle from Monday. And I've got a retracement long drawn down here at 27.49 and a quarter, just from this prior swing low. And so let's run through today. I'm going to put this on the ES in the 30-minute, and we'll relate with the NYSE tick and the 512 tick chart as well. So as we opened up, we started an initial downtrend, gapped down, and did not do any sort of attempt to fill that gap. We moved down pretty substantially in that we didn't make any sort of retracement to the 50% from highs to lows in the first 15 minutes. We had a low tick here at 46s. And so 16 minutes into the day, a low tick at lows. And so that one, I was drawing up the short, and we didn't make it to its 50% retracement. We actually came down beyond the negative 23. So I drew up the next retracement short. Here is where we got that low tick that lined up, the NYSE low tick that lined up with low price. And I really like this, or I was looking at this one for a long, but seeing that we stopped right at the short. So we broke the swing high. We had low ticket lows. I like this for a long setup if we don't stop right at the short. So the short traded first. I'll zoom in a little further. The short, meaning we traded at about 47s, 747, we traded at the short, and then the long did not trade until about 749, 748, 749. So that was after the short traded. So since the short already traded and that was in play, I have to pass on the long. If we would have come up and broke the 61.8, then all systems go to take the long. Now when I see that happen, a failure, whether it's a low tick at lows and then we break that low, whether it is a break of a 61.8, I like taking the next setup in the direction of the failure. So the long, I guess in the opposite direction of the failure, you might say, the long here failed. The short was in play, traded down to its target, so I took the next short. Under the sort of, the thought process is that, okay, bulls were not able to push us higher, the long failed, so that means the bears are now in control, or should resume control. So I took the short here at 52.75, and then just trailed my stop above the swing highs on the way down, eventually getting taken out right here at 47s. So about a 53 to a 47. Nice little move, happened pretty quickly and really clean. Moving down, rallying, got that first target hit of 2 points, and then just trailing swing highs on the way down. Next, I drew up the retracement. I had the daily retracement 49.25 drawn up, and when we came down, so we had the daily long at 49.25s below us. I'm just looking at my notes here. We also had a gap fill from February 14th that was at 45 and a quarter, and that's, let's see, it was just below that. It was like 44-ish. 44, 45 was where the gap fill was, and we came down very close we stopped at 45.25. So seeing that we were just about at the gap fill and we were kind of sitting at this 50% retracement long on the daily chart, now I'm starting to look for long setups to be in play. Now we also, let's see, wasn't a low tick at low price here. So 52s was the low nicey tick, and then 53s was the low price. So there was the potential to continue going lower, which I, kept in the back of my mind. But I was thinking there might be some good long opportunities here. And so let's see. Next trade off of the lows of, so this line, horizontal line here, is the bottom of the first 30-minute range. So this big body candle here is where this line is marking. So the next retracement was the next retracement short broke its 61.8. It broke ever so slightly. I ended up waiting for the market to move just a little higher and took the 48 long. And that one, just all it really did was moved up to its negative 23% target, and then I trailed the next 61.8 and got stopped out of I took a little off at the negative 23, and then I got stopped out of the rest up here at the 61.8. And the next one, so then we kind of did this sideways chop nastiness. I had drawn up the full retracement short, thinking, okay, here we're getting a bounce off lows. Let's see if we get kind of a move up to the 50% retracement short. We didn't, at least at that point. We ended up moving lower, and not by a ton, but enough to where we took out lows of the day. I liked, it was at 8:20 that we had another low tick here, low ticket lows. So I draw up the next retracement short, and I look for us to break that 61.8. As soon as we do that, I draw up the very first long setup. This one didn't quite pull back all the way to get me filled. Price, I had a 44.50. I just rounded up and added a tick, and price came right to 44.50s, but I didn't get filled. So I ended up extending this low to high, and this one I ended up taking as a limit order at 46.75s. I felt that the distance was big enough, was small enough. 46.75s was my entry, and then 45.25 was my stop, which was outside the 61.8. I ended up getting a full stop out on this one, actually, and we were kind of at the bottom of the first 30-minute range, so I was looking for us to make a move to the top, which we did get a larger move, but it just didn't occur right at that point. So the next trade I had was over here at 21s, and I ended up drawing, so you can do this a couple of ways. What I ended up doing, we came close to this negative 23% target. I just left this retracement here, but I also just kind of made a mental note of what would happen if I moved this anchor point up to highs. And we were kind of bouncing off both of the retracements. We had this one that I have drawn up, and then the full long low to high. And we still had this short above us, but it had plenty of room to run. And we were kind of right at this daily long, and I felt like we were getting some momentum. So when I saw this beautiful little double bottom pattern, I've got the next short drawn up to make sure we don't stop right at it. We had this double bottom broke the swing high, and I just came in here, took this little guy at 75s, 47, 75s, and then that's what took us up to the halfway back of the day. So that one looked like this. We were trading up to here. We actually traded through it, but it was a little bit kind of messy in the middle. So I took the 47 75s. We moved pretty quickly. I got a couple of little pullbacks in here. I ended up taking a little bit off at the negative 23 up here. So I took some off at a third off at 2 points. The next third I took off at the negative 23 of the larger retracement. Then I trailed the remainder underneath these swing lows, and this was the swing low that took me out over here. Then we had stopped right at the 50% retracement. And notice how, a lot of this is the same process, looking at the larger retracements and moving from, one large retracement to another. So we have a daily long below us, and then we have the trading hours only above us. Here we had like a triple top, and so I drew, always drawing the opposing setup just to make sure we don't stop there. And we eventually stopped there, but the trade setup happened before that. So I took the short here, 50s, 54 50s, and rode that down to the negative 23% target, got the first target hit, and then I had my stop trailing the next 61.8, and I got taken out of that one over there. And that did it for me today. I felt like it was a pretty somewhat easy market to read, even though we had a lot of undulation. We broke the halfway back trading hours of the day. We broke that short, the 61A of the short, and then we still rolled over. But it was pretty easy to tell when we were going from this type of nice, clean trending environment to this sideways, choppy environment, and then back into, more of a trending environment. Those changes were really clear today. And, the more you look at the charts and place trades, it does become clearer. I know sometimes it can be seem like it's a foreign language, but the more you look at one market and focus in on one time frame like the 512 tick chart, the easier it does become. So I hope that sheds some light on my trading, shed some light on your trades from today. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, tim@eminimind.com. Thanks everyone. Have a great weekend.